This is Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
There's really exciting new information that we're learning every day about just how important the gut microbiome is as a determinant of good or poor health, and how many systems in the body it influences, controls in some ways, as a matter of fact. My guest today, Michelle Griffin, is doing what could be groundbreaking work in this area for our pets. And she, along with a scientist, created a product that isn't really like any other product on the market. And I've been getting to know her and more about this product. And I've even tried it on myself and my dogs. And I want you to learn more about this. I want to share this with you because it is so, so important to your pet's health. So we're going to welcome Michelle. The products are MuttGut and KittyGut from the Culture Club in 1 second. But first, we're going to take a short break from our sponsor. So grab that healthy beverage, get comfortable, and we'll be right back.
Take a bite out of your competition. Advertise your business with an ad in Pet Life Radio podcasts and radio shows. There is no other pet-related media that is as large and reaches more pet parents and pet lovers than Pet Life Radio. With over 7 million monthly listeners, Pet Life Radio podcasts are available on all major podcast platforms. And our live radio stream goes out to over 250 million subscribers on iHeartRadio, Odyssey, TuneIn, and other streaming apps. For more information on how you can advertise on the #1 pet podcast and radio network, visit PetLifeRadio.com/advertise today.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back. If you've just joined, I'm Jody L. Teich, and this is the Pet Health Coach on Pet Life Radio. And we're here today with Michelle Griffin, who is with the Culture Club and has new products on the market, MuttGut and KittyGut, that she actually just recently debuted at Global Pet Expo. And this could really be a game changer. So I'm very excited to have her on the show to tell us more about these products and to educate us a little bit more about the gut microbiome and just how important it is to your pet's good or poor health. Hey, Michelle.
Hi, Jody. Thank you so much for the amazing introduction.
Oh, thank you. I'm so happy to have you on the show. Now, we became friendly through this product. A mutual friend introduced us, and this is a passion of mine, the gut microbiome and everything that it affects in the body for both us and our pets. So I think it's really powerful to start today with your own personal story, because you have one that, wow, it is very powerful. So tell my listeners about how you came to this work.
I was diagnosed with a very rare autoimmune disorder that's also a neuromuscular disorder called myasthenia gravis back in 2009. And my health journey was very long and arduous when I discovered through meeting a microbiologist that the immune system was actually regulated by the microbiome. And we did some kind of detective work of trying to see where my health had started to really change. And I went back into my history and realized that living in Mexico, I'd had an enormous amount of antibiotics. I already had a predisposition to, things like allergies and eczema when I was young. So the immune part of it was already there, but the antibiotics really sent my immune system into total mayhem. So I discovered that there's very key microbial strains that are needed to regulate the immune system, as I said. So microbiome dysbiosis is something that causes the immune system to misfunction and misfire. Often it causes the immune system to be overreactive, which was the case in this particular case. And so microbiome dysbiosis is killing off the diversity of strains of bacteria in the gut that are really key to maintaining overall health.
So because of this and doing the detective work that you did with this microbiologist, talk about like the different things that the gut microbiome, in addition to the immune system, which is core, critical, that affects. I think many pet parents are just learning about this because the gut microbiome is something that is, to most people, a relatively new concept.
Definitely the gut is overlooked. It's finally getting recognition as what it really is, which is the second brain. There's even some arguments that it's the first brain. The receptor sites in the gut correlate directly to the receptor sites in the brain. And so there's a gut-brain axis, which is extremely important to even our cognitive function. But even more than that, just on overall well-being and happiness is completely overlooked, that the gut microbiome actually produces 90% of serotonin and GABA, as well as also producing the vitamins that are essential to supplying our body with nutrients. And then the microbes also have a really important job of breaking down our food into nutrients and then sending those nutrients throughout the body to really be the fuel that drives us. So the microbiome is just probably as important as the brain, equal, if not more, because it does so many jobs and it has such a big role in wellness. What is the main issue of not having microbiome diversity and therefore microbiome dysbiosis, which is really, I would say, coming to an epidemic scale across the board, whether it be for humans or pets. It's really coming. The issue is that there's so much acidity that's produced because the microbes aren't there to do these jobs. So our guts are then producing high amounts of acid, and acidity causes inflammation, and inflammation is the mother of all diseases. So whether it be from symptoms such as, obvious gut microbial imbalances like overgrowth of yeast or overgrowth of certain bacteria strains that are bad, to just allergies or there's all sorts of symptoms that can show up, or even just depression, bad mood, lack of energy. In the case of dogs and cats, it could be poor coat or hair falling out. There's lots of different symptoms that can be expressing externally that the microbiome is out of balance.
Yeah. And I think it's important for people to understand a couple of things. One is that through developing this product with this highly respected microbiologist, you were able to take a serious progressive disease and reverse your symptoms. So that today, I think it's important for people to understand that.
I actually worked with a microbiologist. We also have two chemists that we work with. But most importantly, was when I really started to see that the methods that I was using of fermentation and the different strains of microbes, after doing a lot of microbiome analysis on myself and making various formulations, and this took years. I found an immunologist, and she's a world-renowned immunologist, Geet Jensen. She's the research director at NIS Laboratories. And that was really the game changer for me, because I said, well, I've obviously found something that works, unless this is like a placebo effect, because I'm willing myself to be well, but I really need to understand the how and why this is working. So that's where Geet came in, and that was really pivotal because, like I said, a game changer in the sense that we then went really deep into the science of like, why is this working? How is this working? How is it regulating the immune response? Really measuring those anti-inflammatory effects. We also adjusted the formula at that time, so we even increased our anti-inflammatory effects and increased the bioavailability just with other factors that Geet was able to bring into that scientifically. So Geet and I actually have a patent pending on our product for immune modulation and anti-inflammatory effects, that we're co-authors on that patent after those tests.
Wonderful. I also think it's important for my listeners to understand that when you were talking about the gut being the second brain, maybe even the first one, that the vagus nerve, the longest nerve in the body for humans or dogs, cats, it is a direct communication between the gut and the brain, and they talk all day long. So when you have things like what you mentioned, 90% of the serotonin is produced in the gut. And for humans, it's pretty much the same thing, like 85% or something like that. And you realize that depression, anxiety, such a huge problem for pet parents. It's the number one Googled challenge for pet parents is anxiety in the various forms, can be regulated through the food and the state of the gut microbiome, which is affected obviously by what you put in there. It is absolutely a game changer. Now, what I'm really excited about with regards to these products is what makes them so different. And you absolutely have a different approach. You have your three-step, your 3-type system in this product. Tell listeners about that.
So, because I came at it from a very practical sense and not as a scientist, I think, I did some things with this product that came from just research that I and things that I understood myself, and the products that I tried myself. So one of them was bentonite clay, which I found to be extremely nurturing to not only the intestinal tract, but the lining of the gut. And when you've had long periods of acidity, that acidity actually perforates the gut, causing IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. And that's leaky gut syndrome, yeah. And so that irritation is probably the first thing that needs to be addressed. So for that reason, I use bentonite clay or Indian healing clay to reduce the pH balance and really start to heal the gut lining and gently cleanse all the toxicity that's there and the junk that we don't need, the waste product. And then at the same time as that, we also use kelp and turmeric. Both of those ingredients are really key. Kelp has incredible healing properties and really helps to support the organ function and also the blood. So turmeric is a very strong anti-inflammatory, naturally occurring, and we use a really high grade turmeric. So we have it sun-dried, and so that we really maintain its antioxidant and anti-inflammatory and antiviral capacity. But then what we use, which is most important with all those really high quality ingredients, is a very long fermentation process that we put prebiotics and a broad spectrum range of probiotics together into a big soup, essentially. And we stimulate that so that we produce postbiotics. And not only does it fermentate.
We don't really hear about postbiotics much, right?
Postbiotics are metabolites that we would produce if we had a healthy gut, because we would already have the prebiotics or the food source for the probiotics, and then we'd have a broad spectrum range of probiotics already in the gut, so that they would be producing their own fermentation process and producing metabolites and peptides, amino acids, and long chain fatty acids. So if the gut is out of balance, it's not able to do that process by itself. And so we're essentially doing that process for the gut, so that those postbiotics, metabolites, and like I said, peptides, short chain fatty acids, and are really going to work to support the immune system while we're doing the longer process of calming down the acidity, healing the lining of the gut, and actually introducing a broad spectrum range of probiotics. So we're coming at it from a three-pronged perspective, basically.
Yeah, it's fascinating. And, of course, what you put in your pet's body makes a huge difference in terms of diet, even the treats that you choose. And we live in a world where environmental toxins, the air they breathe, the water they drink, even if it's filtered water, it's better for sure. The grass they walk on, the cleaning products maybe you use, the fabric on your couch, it can come from so many places, and it becomes an onslaught. And that creates the kind of inflammation in the system, in addition to the acidity that chronically is the precursor of disease and creates disease. So absolutely. So let's take it a little bit more personally for the listener. Let's say I have a dog with health issues. Maybe she has tummy upset or skin issues or whatever it might be. What are you seeing with using your products in terms of supporting issues like these?
Well, the first sign of microbiome dysbiosis is obviously it can be loose stool, or it can be constipation, or it can be both. There's a lot of symptoms that people don't recognize as being gut-related symptoms, which can be irritable skin, constant licking, ear scratching, booty scoots. There's all different types of symptoms. No matter what the symptom that is, the issue, it's always worth looking at the microbiome first, because that should be the baseline go-to. So MuttGut and KittyGut are really that. They're baseline products that are treating the overall health at the core. The first things that will be recognizable is we have a disclaimer for a very nice side effect in less stinky poop. So we have we treat a lot of dogs with runny poop and constipation and gas and bloating, and they're not able to process their food well. So things don't come out the other end very nicely. So I think all of our listeners today can relate to having to pick up sloppy, stinky poop at some point, so we can be your friend, if nothing else like that. So that's really the first thing. That's yeah. The first thing is, that really, can be solved or resolved very easily and quickly. Our product goes to work extremely quickly, binding together, loose stool, and also unclogging the intestinal tract. So then after that, a couple of weeks later, you'll start seeing signs that the hair will improve, the skin will improve. And, each dog and cat have different levels of microbiome, different dysbiosis or symptoms. And so it will vary from animal to animal, but I'm speaking in general terms, that over the next few weeks of use that you'll see signs like a healthier, brighter, shinier coat. And it will go from there, really. Mood, behavior, energy. Older dogs in particular will have a more difficult time processing their food. So it will take a lot more energy from their system. So my product will really help them in digesting that food and turning that food into nutrients and energy. And not the right type of energy, not energy like sending them crazy and running around your apartment so that they'll drive you mad, but a good level of energy that will help with healing and have other cellular benefits at the same time.
Yeah, cellular energy, grounded energy.
Yes.
Yes, this is a topic, as I said, that is so important. And we are going to go even more into this. But we're going to take a short break right now from our sponsor. So refresh that healthy beverage, get cozy, and we'll be right back.
Molly, here's your dinner. Zeus, that's not your food.
Don't let that happen to your precious cat. Elevate your cat's eating experience with the Cat Tree Tray. The Cat Tree Tray keeps your cat's food off the floor and conveniently located on the cat tree. It's the perfect way to eat. It's a beautiful wrought iron tray that easily attaches to your cat tree and keeps dogs and other critters out of your cat's dish. A must for multi-pet households. There's a 6-inch tray for large bowls and a 4-inch tray for smaller bowls. Purchase your Cat Tree Tray today. Go right now to cattreetray.com. That's cattreetray.com. CATTREETRAY.com.
Let's talk pets
Let's talk pets
on Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back. If you've just joined, we're talking about the very important topic of gut health and the function of the gut microbiome in that with expert Michelle Griffin of the Culture Club and her products MuttGut and KittyGut, really a first of its kind on the market. Michelle, how do you recommend starting a pet on this product?
It's very simple to use. It's 1 gram for a dog under 40 pounds and 2 grams for a dog over 40 pounds twice a day. So with food, we just sprinkle it on top of the food. They actually find it very delicious because it's been fermented, and they tend to be like the fermentation smell and be attracted to that. But if there are any issues with palatability, we always recommend using it with maybe a little bit of bone broth and to get them introduced to the taste or the texture. And really, it's very simple. I mean, in the next few days, you should start to see an improvement in the stool. And like I said before, the smell, texture, it will help with things like breath as well and gas. And then it really goes from there. And then ongoing, it's a really good immune support.
Now, if a pet is put on this a couple of times a day, have you ever heard about any side effects that pet parents should be aware of just in case, and what to do about that?
There have been, if a dog has worms or parasites, and they can start to shed those. And so there could be that shedding as they're coming out. And if that continues for a few days, you should consult with your vet, obviously, and probably do a stool sample, or you can even see worms in the stool. But other than that, if there is diarrhea or anything like that, you should just reduce the quantity that you're giving. And if it's still irritable, then you contact us and we'll see what the symptoms are, or you speak directly to your vet.
Great. And we'll have information on how to reach you on the show page and underneath this video as well. What would you recommend to pet parents to do in tandem with using MuttGut or KittyGut to support their pet's gut microbiome health the best?
Obviously, the market is full of various types of food. High quality food. There's a lot of really good quality food, but the price point of those high quality foods sometimes are really high and not affordable for the average user. And I know myself, because I've actually gotten some prices for foods that are really high quality, and I have canacorsos and they require a lot of food every day. And so I think it would put us out of our home if we fed them those foods. So, but the really good thing about my product is that you can get the benefits of, the perspective of using a raw diet, for example. There's a lot of benefits to a raw diet, but there's also a lot of risk to a raw diet, because with the same way as we're promoting the bacteria, there's a risk of an overgrowth of bacteria also. So in that sense, the fact that my product has those benefits when having the bacteria, but it's stabilized, it works well in conjunction with all different types of diets. That's one of the benefits. If you can't afford to feed a high quality food and you have to compromise, or you want to use a rotational diet, my product will really help with stabilizing the gut during a rotational diet.
Interesting. Very interesting. And I love the fermentation piece, because while we're learning how important eating fermented products is for us humans to maintaining a healthy gut, it's true for our animals as well. And yes, you can feed your dog sauerkraut, if your dog will eat it. But the fact that this product has a fermentation process that you put it through is really, really important. Do you happen to have any stories of animals that, have used this product and, have benefited from it? That's so niche.
We have a lot, actually, but the ones that really stick out, my personal dog was very problematic. She was a shelter dog, really must have had a lot of trauma, judging by her behavior issues. She would eat herself. There's no other way of saying it. She would chew her tail to the bone. It was terrible. And she'd just chew her paws. And she just was constantly anxious and OCD. You couldn't put her in a cage. You couldn't crate her at all. Or she was just terrible. So since having my product, she's become a whole different dog. She doesn't chew herself anymore. She doesn't have the allergies anymore. She used to have big welts like hives. She doesn't have any of those anymore. And the behavioral issues are, totally a different dog. And then we have an incredible cat story, which is actually of somebody that works in the pet industry, who's well known in the pet industry, because she's a CEO and founder herself of Digestive. And she has a cat called Silver. And Silver was really having renal issues, major renal issues and renal failure. So that was a very serious situation. And Silver's been doing absolutely great since he's been on KittyGut, which I think is one of the most remarkable stories that we have to date. There is one more, actually, which was kind of an unusual one. One of our store buyers had a dog that was having seizures, and he'd had seizures every single week since the day that they got him. And he asked me about it, and I said, well, I did have one in the very early stages of my business. I did have one other dog that had seizures, and it did seem to help with the seizures. They reduced. But in this case, actually, there have been no more seizures at all. And that is something that we're really focused on studying to understand how that is possible. What was it that was causing those seizures? Possibly neurotoxicity that was able to be resolved by healing the gut somehow. But that is a major marker that's definitely of major interest to understand how that happened.
Absolutely. Those are wonderful stories. And yeah, I bet that has a lot to do with it. The gut being balanced and the signals and the chemicals that it is sending to the brain, healing the brain. It's a fascinating topic that we're learning so much more about. So this is wonderful, Michelle. I wish you tons and tons of success. Tell people where they can find you and learn more about MuttGut and KittyGut.
Yeah, you're welcome to contact me through our website, through our contact page. I'm Michelle Griffin. I'm the founder and CEO of the Culture Club for our brands MuttGut and KittyGut. You can go to muttgut.com. You can also find us on Amazon, and we are now Prime Delivery.
Excellent. Welcome to the Prime Club.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you so much for being here. And thank you all for listening. As a pet health coach, my mission is to share holistic healing options for pets and their parents seeking a natural approach to wellness. So tune in next time for information, expert interviews, and tips to give the animals we love the longest and most vibrant life we can. I'm Jody L. Teich, and this is the Pet Health Coach.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.